Bono of U2, U2 being, you know the one I mean, it's that idiot that was prancing about on the Live Aid thing, the one that went down in front of the speakers and got all the feedback, and he looked a right Jesse. Him. Your comments about Bono of U2 have prompted me to write how anyone with an artificial working class accent who makes his living out of offending Lancashire's citizens can accuse Bono of being jumped up or pretentious is beyond my comprehension. Incidentally, Liz Howarth, the author of this diatribe, so also is the knowledge of how to spell comprehension. You got it wrong, you divvy. Anyway, she goes on to say that Bono is a genuine, modest and Christian entertainer whose work for Live Aid has extended beyond a publicity-seeking appearance at Wembley to real work in famine-suffering areas of Africa. His innovative work in modern, incidentally, just for your own personal benefit, there is not two N's in modern. It may look better with two N's, I know, and there's no E in music. Your spelling's atrocious. His innovative, you got that right, I don't understand. His innovative work in modern music sets him way ahead of the so-called musicians whose records you play on your programmes, and his live performances give pleasure to thousands of rock music followers. I suggest you retract your comments about Bono and get your facts straight. Now, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to get them straight, or do you want me to retract them? I'm not really bothered. Just tell me what you want, and I'm here to provide. Before making such sweeping and unjustified statements, get your facts straight. As a further penance, I should suggest you play A Kind of Homecoming or other excellent U2 tracks on your programme. Liz Howarth, the 1st of January. I can only assume you were hungover when you wrote this. You ought to be hung over a cliff, but not for long, just long enough to let it go. Anyway, you live in Moss Lane, Leyland, and you're a bit of a divvy. There's the truth of it. I mean, come on. He may well be a genuine guy. He may well be an excellent performer. His music may well be innovative, but he's still a prat.
Right, line 6, yes?
Hello?
What do you want?
I'm from British Telecom.
Never mind.
I'd like to talk about the phone.
Well, go on then.
You can say so much on the phone.
Not if I cut you off, you can't.
You can say, how are you?
Oh, fine, thanks.
You can say, what's new?
Nout.
You can say, I love you.
Oh, me?
Yes, I love you.
Well, that's very kind of you. I'm flattered. You've made my day. I'll phone and tell me mum, and our kid...
For all things great and small, make that call.
Pi Motors for Ford.
Pi Motors of Lancaster and Morecambe are making it much easier for you to afford a new Ford this year. Although officially prices went up on the 1st of January 1986, Pi Motors are still offering 1985 prices. What an amazing deal! Give yourself a great start to the new year with a Ford at 1985 prices. Hurry to Pi Motors while stocks last. Pi Motors, Parliament Street, Lancaster and Northgate, Morecambe.
Pi Motors.
Lynn Wheeler's written in from Carnarvon Avenue, which is in Burnley. And she says, please could you send me photos of David Legg, Andrew Brittain, Ian Lonsdale, Mike Tunstall and Pete Reeves. Thank you. If you're wondering why I've not asked for one of you, it's because I've already got one. Lynn, I'd be happy to send you photographs of these people, but who are they? I've never heard of any of them, honest. Still, if one of them had been called Steve, I could have done an excellent link now into a song called Steve Is OK, but they aren't, so I can't, so I won't. I think I'm drunk. Well, it's over. I've got to tell you, it's unbelievable. We get lots of entries for this here writing competition that we do on this programme. And incidentally, this week's question, I reckon's fairly easy. But then it's a question about probably my favourite character on television. On Channel 4 Television's Hill Street Blues, which detective bites people? If you know the answer to that. Yes, it is him, yes, the one in the hat. If you know the answer to that, put it on a postcard or a sealed-down envelope, lick it and stick it, and send it to me. You could even put it in a letter if you like. And send it to Allan Beswick, Red Rose Radio, P.O. Box 301, Preston, PR11YE. Don't forget your postcode, else dire prognostications do befall you. Now then, the prize. The first correct one out of the hat on Saturday wins themselves the top 3 LPs and a free go at It's Your Turn's jackpot on Sunday morning. And the jackpot prize for January on It's Your Turn is a weekend for 2 in Paris. Travel from Manchester with Airlink Express. You stay in a 3-star hotel and all your scrans chucked in. It sounds alright. It is alright. So, what's the question? On Channel 4 Television's Hill Street Blues, which detective bites people? And I've got to tell you, we've got an answer here, the first one, and it's absolutely spot on correct. There's no name on it, no address on it. You could have been going to Paris, kid, but you didn't tell us who you are. And it's a bit difficult. We can't send the whole of Lancashire in the hope that we get it right, because that would bankrupt us. And the day of all days, that's not a day to go bankrupt. Otherwise, Mr. Esseltine would sell us to a frog or something. That's the last thing we want. Worse than that, the Prime Minister would sell us to a Yank. Don't buy shares in an echilopter company. They're not being owned by frogs and toads and... to choose, really, isn't it? Jeannie Tracy, and Don't Leave Me This Way. I'm not overly sure what she's singing about, but it's probably better that I don't know my sensitive ears. Please could you read this out on Monday? Of course I could. Please could you play or say a big hello to me, Glenn, my mum and dad, who are probably listening to you in bed. What are you doing in bed at 10:20? Are they ill? Are they unwell? Or have they just got the better of each other and had enough of you and gone to bed out the way? Perhaps that's what it is. Maybe it's because Wogan's not on the telly. Although that's enough to drive anybody to bed. Watching Wogan on the telly is dreadful. Anyway, listening to you in bed. Hello to Martin, who lives in Wigan. Well, that narrows it down, doesn't it, really? There must only be one in Wigan. Last but not least, Mark and Braithwaite. I listen to your show every day of the week, and I think it's fantastic. This is all very well, but who are you? We know that you are Glenn. More information is required. Nonetheless, how do? I love you. I think we'd better sort of narrow that down a little as well. I don't love you all. Indeed, can't honestly think that I love any of you. To John, I love you. From Sarah Parkinson, that is. And also, would I say hello to everyone at 2T, Ashton High School, especially Susan, Jane, Catherine, and my best mate, Michelle Brown. So says Sarah Parkinson. How's your dad? More important than that, how's your Sarah? They don't last as long as they used to. I like this. Rather a large hit for Mr. Sharkey. The one he's got out at the moment is not doing as well, but that's understandable. It's not as good. Though I hardly think quality is a criteria for deciding whether a record sells or not. Otherwise, none of the garbage that's in the charts would sell at all, would it?
I hear a lot of stories. I suppose they could be true.
Don't forget, if you'd like a dedication on this, the first chunk of Beswick, then drop us a line. It's Allan Beswick, Red Rose Radio, P.O. Box 301, Preston, PR11YE. And if you want a signed photograph, listen, I don't know why you'd want one, but people do. If you want one, then put a stamped addressed envelope in as well, as indeed Mr. Price, or is it Miss or Ms. Price of Windigate, Muchfield in Preston, has done. Your mugshots on road. Dedications are only done, of course, up until about 11:15.
Nobody does it better.
Well, we've now established who's the best at doing it. All that's left in question is, what is it that's being done? I have my theories, which I refuse to divulge at this stage. Perhaps you have yours. I suggest you hang on to them as well. Hello to Harry Sunderland in Coniston Avenue, Birkenhead. Thank you for your letter and your rather appalling jokes. Thank you anyway, they were fun to read. Dear Alan, I've tried to ring, but all in vain. So I thought I'd write and try again. ABBA record. Super Trooper, the subject under discussion with family and friends, played over and over again to establish where they called from. The line being, I was sick and tired of everything when I called you last night from... Boop, boop. The suggestions are Glasgow, Pascoe, Play School and Cascall. I'm quite sure you must have a listener somewhere who knows the answer. I'm very interested to hear the correct location. Love your evenings on the radio. Miss you when you have your well-deserved 2 nights off. So says Crawley Joan Badgin of Ashbourne Crescent in Ingle. Well, can we help her? Is it possible? You know, Super Trooper. That's all I know. I don't know anymore. And there are those out there thinking right now, I wish you didn't know that bit. I know. But there we are. She wants to know, I know the line you're talking about. It rings a bell. I was sick and tired of everything when I called you last night from... they want to know what it is. Some of the suggestions before us are Glasgow, Pascoe, Play School and Cascall. None of those ring a bell with me. What about you? Perhaps you'd like to tell us when the phone-in lines open later, or alternatively, you'd like to put it in a letter and tell me, in which case I'm sure Joan Badgin will be happy to continue listening until she gets an answer. I don't have that record with me this evening. It's locked away in the library, and there it shall stay, so I can't actually play it and find out for ourselves. Mind you, the diction on some of these records is dubious at best, so that might not help. Anyway, if you think you know the answer, we'd be totally bored to hear it. What is this? Oh, Me and Baby Brother by Key Mai. I don't think they're the ones that did... Oh, no, it's Khayyam. No, they're definitely not the ones. This is the ones that buys electric razors and 95% give me... But I don't know, I can't remember. Well, that's Victor Khayyam, isn't it? No, that's not that. Oh, I give up. Hey-oh... I dream of you with a gentle touch. I've just had a nasty shock. Our programme controller's just been in, Mike Enfield, and he's wearing a demob suit. I've not seen one of them for years. Anyway, if you want to join us on the phone in, the lines are now open. The number, as always, is Preston 561000. That's me, that. You know you've made it when you've got a name sting, even if it is a bit banal. Anyway, Preston 561,000. Needless to say, the lines are now engaged. They'll be like that till 2, thanks to you. Keep trying if you want to get on, because if you don't, you won't. That makes sense. Not often things I say make sense, but there you are. The sad thing about that song is it's remarkably true. There is only bad news coming out of South Africa, at least these days, and in mid-Africa they've got droughts, and in North Africa they've got Gaddafi. Mind you, if Reagan gets his way, perhaps they won't have any more, because he'll fight anybody, providing he's sending other people's children to do it. I'll do to our first caller this evening, called, dreadfully, Pierre.
We three kings ever here and there, bearing gifts we travel afar, field and fent and moor and planting, following yonder star. Star of wonder, star of might, star of royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Hello? How are you today, Alan?
I'm very well, Pierre. How are you?
I am,
Do you know something, Pierre?
Hello?
You are almost as good a guitar player as Manuel that comes on
Well,
sometimes.
we are one and the same, you see. Ole!
Ole! How very remarkable.
Antonio, just one cornetto.
Very kind. Now listen, that isn't funny. Last time somebody sung that to me, it cost me 28 quid. It's true.
But was it a minty one with chocolate bits?
No, it wasn't. It was a gondolier in Venice. I went to Venice for my holidays last year, and I said to him, how much? And he told me in lira. It was about 9 million, grillion, zillion, billion lira, which everybody knows about 8 and 9. And we hopped on his boat, and he took us a little twist round the avenue.
Yeah.
And he sang that, just one can, or something very similar. And he also pointed out Marco Polo's house. He said,
Yeah.
hey, sir, Marco Polo. Marco Polo! I thought you were drunk.
Yeah, we probably was.
28 smackaroonies.
Oh, never mind.
I don't. Ta!
Ta-da.
Hello, Bill.
Hello, Alan. I think I've got a solution to the nuclear arms problem.
Oh, well, you'll be very popular.
And it also involves getting rid of that big waste of time and money, the space shuttle. Now, what they should do is put you in the space shuttle, and if it lifts off, I mean, it's got a lot of weight in it, it would have anyway. They should let Marillion fire all the nuclear weapons at the shuttle, and it'd get rid of all the arms, the space
Marillion?
shuttle. And you, yeah.
Marillion?
They hate you.
Who's Marillion?
Marillion's a pop group, you idiot. Don't you even know who Marillion are?
Well, I do now. I didn't a moment ago.
You did. You did. You were talking about them the other week on your programme. Don't lie.
Yes, but...
You're lying, Alan.
No,
You're lying.
When you said...
You're lying, Alan.
The basis of your comment is
Well,
invalid.
get off.
How do, Peter?
Hello.
Hello.
I want to talk about racism.
Please do.
I think it's wrong that if we call an ethnic minority black, there's an enormous fuss about it. But if they call us white, it's perfectly okay for them to do so.
Peter, you have obviously been misled by somebody. There is nothing wrong with referring to a black person as a black person. Indeed, a black person would be offended if you referred to them in any other way. Nor is it wrong to regard an Asian person as an Asian person, or a Chinese person as a Chinese person. What is wrong is to alter your behaviour to their detriment. All right.
Right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
How do, Sean?
Hello, Alan. Yeah, I drive a van for a company delivering. And I'll not mention the company, but I've been driving my van down round Wigan, and I've been pulled up by the police. They give me a breathalyzer. They said I've been drinking, I'm over the limit. I've now had a drop of drink all day. The night before was the last time I've been drinking. And they've done me. Well, I had a right indicator what wasn't working. They've done me for that, and I understand that. But they're doing me for drinking.
Presumably they took a blood sample.
No, they're not. They didn't even show me the bag.
They didn't show it to you?
No.
Then I suggest you get yourself a solicitor. Because I don't think they can prosecute you just on the evidence of a breathalyzer, unless it's an intoximeter.
Yeah.
Now, if it was an intoximeter, you would have had to be taken down the police station, where you would have been required to produce another test.
Yeah, I did a urine sample.
You did a sample?
Yeah.
And have you a report from that sample?
No, not yet.
When you get the report from that sample, they will decide then whether to prosecute you. You tell me they're already going to prosecute you for drunken driving, or at least for being over the limit.
Yeah.
See, the problem is the charge is having the excess amount of alcohol in your blood. There's some grave difficulty in proving the excess amount of alcohol in your blood unless they take a blood sample.
Yeah, well, I have been drinking the night before.
That isn't what I asked you. You tell me you never gave a blood sample.
No.
Did you refuse to do so?
No, they never asked me.
They never asked you at all?
No, they just asked me for a urine sample.
I suggest you get yourself a solicitor very quickly.
Yeah, but I've lost my job because of this.
Why? Why have you lost your job on the basis of a case that's not yet been heard?
Well, I've just got the sack. Well, I've not got the sack yet. I've got a week's notice.
How long did you work for the company?
I've been working now 2 years.
Well, 2 years is a magic number. Was it less than 2 years or beyond 2 years?
Well, it was just under 2 years.
Just under?
Yeah.
There's virtually nothing you can do about it. Are you a member of a trades union?
No.
Perhaps you should have been. Had you been a member of a trades union, your union could have at least stayed execution until after the court case.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you're convicted of being over the limit, then you deserve to lose your licence.
Well, I didn't have a drop of drink.
Indeed, but the ruling has got nothing whatsoever to when you last... or nothing whatsoever to do with when you last took a drink. It's got to do with the quantity of alcohol in your blood. And one of the arguments that is put on this programme quite frequently is that there should be a 0 rating. In other words, people with any alcohol in their blood should be convicted. And I argue against that on the basis that the alcohol takes anything up to 48 hours to remove itself from your blood. You are the victim of that delay, Sean. There's nothing you can do about it.
So
Unless your solicitor argues that the procedures were not fully implemented.
So the alcohol could have still been in my body from the night before?
Absolutely. And the day after.
Yeah, but surely they should have shown me the bag, at least.
Well, that bit, yes, they should have done, and I suggest you discuss that with a solicitor, but more importantly, you should have been given the opportunity to give a further sample in the police station, and you could have asked for a quantity of that for your own analysis. But equally, you tell me they're going to prosecute you for being over the limit, and yet they've not yet received the report of the sample, and I find that dubious at best.
I'm waiting word from them now.
So they've not yet decided to prosecute on that matter?
Well, they just said I'll be hearing from them soon.
Right, well that isn't a decision to prosecute, that is a decision to keep in abeyance. So I suggest you wait until you find out whether or not you're going to be prosecuted. If you are going to be prosecuted for driving with excess alcohol in your blood, I suggest you get a solicitor to help defend you. Okay?
Okay, all right.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
Richard, how do to you?
Right there, Alan.
Yep.
Well, I'd like to, Westland Helicopter Company.
Yeah.